forward, Commissioner?
You know what? The men, or the kids, children, I call them, the ones that testified against Eddie Gallagher, that's not what I consider the SEAL community. I've met dozens of the men that work with Eddie Gallagher, have worked with him throughout his career. That is the real brotherhood. That is the SEAL community. Eddie Gallagher is the best representation of our Navy SEALs, and that's what people should realize. That's right. What they should know. That's what they should remember.
Yeah, he's lucky to have you in his corner, Sean, a great brother, and of course a dedicated wife, indefatigable in their defense, and Clint Lorentz, and there's some others who are also in military prisons right now, hoping for their day in court to free themselves. And by the way, Eddie Gallagher is going to come on live with us, with Pete Hegseth, his good friend, in 2 hours.
And his wife, too, who did stand by his side. Thank you, Commissioner, for joining us. All right, forget "In God We Trust." These "In No God We Trust" banners are popping up in one city, and they aren't going anywhere anytime soon.
Wow. And we're kicking off our Proud American coverage with our friend Anna Koyman. She is live on board the USS Yorktown in South Carolina. Anna, what do we have?
Hi, Brian. Hi, Ainsley. Hello to everybody at home. We are here at Patriots Point on board the USS Yorktown. Of course, most folks associate this aircraft carrier with World War II, but it also played an integral part in another part of American history, the space race. We'll tell you more as Fox and Friends rolls on.
16 short years later, she was falling for the senior.
If you have moderate to severe psoriasis, little things can be a big deal. That's why there's Otezla. Otezla is not a cream. It's a pill that treats plaque psoriasis differently. With Otezla, 75% clearer skin is achievable. Don't use if you're allergic to Otezla. It may cause severe diarrhea, nausea, or vomiting. Otezla is associated with an increased risk of depression. Tell your doctor if you have a history of depression or suicidal thoughts, or if these feelings develop. Some people taking Otezla reported weight loss. Your doctor should monitor your weight and may stop treatment. Upper respiratory tract infection and headache may occur. Tell your doctor about your medicines and if you're pregnant or planning to be. Ready to treat differently with a pill? Otezla. Show more of you.
Excuse me. Do you mind being a motor?
What could be better than being a motor? The real question is, do you mind not being a motor?
I do. For those who were born to ride, there's Progressive.
PetSmart celebrating the 4th with great deals like buy one, get one 50% off dog and cat food and holiday dog toys, apparel, beds, and more. Plus, Treats members get 50% more points on all purchases. Now that's a celebration. PetSmart.
Let me get this straight. After a long day of hard work, you have to do more work?
Automatically sort your expenses and save over 40 hours a month.
Every day you're nearly fried to a crisp professionally.
You earned it. We're here to make sure you get it. QuickBooks, backing you.
Hi. Look at how great you look.
Thank you.
I feel like I've been on a diet my entire life. I even cut out bread and pasta for a day. And then I tried Noom.
I feel like anyone could use Noom.
It's an easy to stick to program that actually changed my habits. It changed the way I look at food.
They say it's based on a cognitive behavioral approach. I just say it works.
It just clicked. It worked. It worked with Noom.
Visit Noom.com and lose the weight for good.
Puberty means personal space.
So sports clothes sit around growing odors. That's why we graduated to Tide Pod Sport.
Finally, something more powerful than the funk.
Tide Sport removes even week-old sweat odor. It's got to be Tide.
From 2 stories to 20. From ready apps to emergency response. From your community to a nationwide network. The cleanup specialists at 1-800-SERVE-PRO. Everything under your roof, everyone under ours. Helping to make fire and water damage like it never even happened.
2,000 country stations. Yeah, we're one big country nation, that's right.
Just my opinion. If the president wanted a better song than the Rolling Stones, that song, Country Nation, Brad Paisley, is the perfect for the theme to his speeches.
Brad Paisley, better than Rolling Stones.
Better than Rolling Stones, yes, for me. And I don't think the Rolling Stones love the fact that the president uses it.
Yeah.
I think Brad Paisley wouldn't mind it.
The president has a rally coming up soon, I saw.
So
July 17th. We'll get a little Brad Paisley.
Maybe
right.
so.
Go ahead.
All right, so talk about patriotism. You know, we have 4th of July tomorrow. Nike released that tennis shoe. Up north, they call it sneaker. That's why I hesitated. Anyway, they released this tennis shoe right here. Colin Kaepernick gets upset. He says he's offended by that flag, the Betsy Ross flag. And so Nike decides to pull it, right? Well, now outrage is growing about this issue.
Yeah, so it was going to go out July 4th, obviously, and it was a remake of the Air Max 1. So they're looking at a shoe that they rolled out 15 years ago and put up the Betsy Ross flag, the original 13 stars. Now, what the report is, Colin Kaepernick has not formally commented, that he called up and said a lot of these hate groups are using the Betsy Ross flag. So we think it's a bad symbol. Really? What if one of the gang members started using, or one of the hate groups started using a Nike swoosh? Would they stop using a Nike swoosh? I believe a lot of gangs use the Raiders action wear and for logo. Did that stop the Raiders when they were in Los Angeles, Oakland, and now Las Vegas from using the Raiders cap? No. You can't control if someone's going to use a logo in a negative fashion. That is not an excuse not to roll this thing out.
There's so many angles on this, but, you know, it is worth pointing out that at one point they put Betsy Ross on a postage stamp as a hero to women for her contribution. She's honored in Philadelphia, but yet Colin Kaepernick has a problem. I'll tell you who else has a problem with this story is Rush Limbaugh. Here is what he had to say.
Did he not tell us that he was kneeling to protest police brutality? Did he not tell us this? He did. That's all it was. He was protesting the fact that the cops are shooting people like him. It was all about the cops, except it wasn't. It was about the flag all along. He was taking a knee because he opposes the country. He opposes the national anthem. He opposes honoring the flag. This proves it. They always lie to us. They hide so much of their real core. Even when they are in the process of displaying it, they still deceive.
So the governor of Arizona came out when he heard about this story and says, listen, Nike was going to have 500 jobs and build a factory here. He goes, I'm telling you right now, there's no more, I no longer support it. There's not going to be any state subsidies for it. New Mexico says, well, take it. He says, I'm willing to forego that. That's how upset he is. Keep in mind, this is how the country started, with 13 stripes and 13 stars. Now we have 13 stripes for the original colonies. We put the stars on for the states that come. So essentially, if you're against the 13 stars, you're against the 13 stripes, you're against the flag.
Well, I'm from Washington. I report on Congress all day, and a very surprising moment having Mitch McConnell, the Senate Majority Leader, weighed in on this publicly. It may surprise you. Here's what he said.
Well, if we're in a political environment where the American flag has become controversial to Americans, I think we got a problem. I hope Nike either releases these shoes or some other shoemaker picks up the flag, puts it on a pair of shoes, and starts selling it. I'll make the first order.
New Balance, they make their shoes here in the USA. It's a matter of time before some company's going to say, great idea, I'm going to create a red, white, and blue shoe. Actually, we're going to have one on in the next hour at 7:20. I'm reading this article, too, that says many of them sold. They were resold on some site where they resell items called StockX, and they're not selling them anymore, but they sold them for a few hours, and they were selling for $2,000. People love them.
I just worry the big picture. Everyone, little by little, is just nipping at the ends. They're not celebrating Thomas Jefferson's birthday in Charlottesville anymore. Virginia, they're just dancing around the edges. And what the president said early on, soon are we going after George Washington now because he had slaves? You get into the fabric of our country because we want to judge him by the ideals of today. Also, I think it's very interesting that there must have been a restraining order not only on Mitch McConnell's staff, but on the cameraman. Everybody was zoomed out. The staff was far away. I saw more corn than I did Mitch. I thought he needed a bullhorn to find him.
Way back.
I'm like, can anyone zoom in?
All right, well, let's zoom in on one of our friends. We are celebrating Independence Day, and we're kicking off our Proud American coverage.
Yeah, our friend, Proud American correspondent, former Fox and Friends weekend co-host, who is now finding herself in Australia, Anna Koyman, live from USS Yorktown in Patriots Point, South Carolina.
Anna, welcome back.
Yeah,
back in the Carolinas.
Good morning. Back for the third year for the Proud American coverage, and I'll be here all day today and tomorrow as well. We are on board the USS Yorktown here at Patriots Point, Charleston, South Carolina. Of course, a lot of us associate this aircraft carrier with our American war history, but it also played an integral part in the space race. Bob Coggins is a Vietnam veteran and part of the Navy SEAL team that rescued, or at least recovered, 3 astronauts off of the coast of Hawaii when Apollo 8's capsule splashed down. It was all a part of a planned mission that you guys spent about a month and a half training for. Is that right?
Very true. All of that is very true. Frank Borman, Anders, and Lovell were the astronauts that were, on the mission.
Yes, and we're coming up on the 50th anniversary of Apollo 11, Apollo 8 orbiting the moon some 10 times. How significant was that in making us landing on the moon possible?
Very. If Apollo 8 hadn't done what they had done, and circled the moon 10 times, 11 might not have been that big a deal. It's a big space race, going on with the Russians and the Americans.
Right. Well, take us back to that night, because the way you tell this story, you paint the picture of the night sky lighting up and the way that it's all reflecting off the parachutes. Paint the picture for us.
All right. Now, you talking about actually before it landed, or? Yeah, well, we were right beside it coming in. We were 6,000 feet above the ship, the Yorktown, and the people in the helicopter, the captain, he gave us a thumbs up that we were the ones that were going to pick up the capsule
and be part of history being made.
Yeah, and they were burning the fuel off for the retro rockets fuel, so we wouldn't get burned by the fuel.
They were looking out for you.
Yeah.
That's why you're wearing your wetsuits, too.
Yeah. And anyway, we didn't take the cameras and take the pictures at the right time, but we're going to make a picture of it anyway.
Yeah, you're having an artist commission this for you now. I think that's so awesome. You're in such awe of what's going on in front of you. You had a camera around your neck, and so did your buddies, and forgot to take a picture.
Yeah, exactly.
But you still remember it right here, don't you?
Oh yeah, so we got to get it painted. So it's gonna turn out good.
Well, thank you for your service and what you did, and thanks for joining us this morning.
Oh, well, thank you.
Thanks for coming on. All right, guys, back to you in New York.
That is wonderful. Thank you so much,
That's
Anna.
great.
I know everyone there watches Fox News. The Coggins family is a big Charleston family, and thank him for his service. That's awesome.
All right. Meanwhile, Jillian Milley is upstairs, ready to poised to give us the rest of the news. Hey, Jillian.
That's right. Good morning. Let's start with this. The president of South Bend Police Union demanding Mayor Pete Buttigieg step down from a high-profile shooting probe in his Indiana city.
I would tell him that he needs to recuse himself from this investigation. He has used this incident to further his political campaign, and he cannot be unbiased about this.
That response comes after Buttigieg said, quote, all police work takes place in the shadow of racism. Officer Ryan O'Neill is accused of shooting and killing Eric Logan last month. Investigators say Logan was armed with a knife. Doctors say a mold infection is to blame for killing a patient at a children's hospital. The patient, one of 6 people to develop an infection at Seattle Children's Hospital over the past year. Officials discovered Aspergillus mold in the air in May. The mold is usually harmless, but patients with weak immune systems or lung disease have an increased risk of getting sick. Several operating rooms at the hospital are closed. The FBI is investigating a major security breach at a U.S. Air Force base. More than 1,000 top-secret documents allegedly taken from Ohio's Wright-Patterson Air Base by a contractor. Police finding them during a search of his home on an unrelated drug warrant. It's unclear what type of information the documents reveal. So far, no charges have been filed. In No God We Trust, an atheist group is stirring outrage after hanging signs with that phrase in Fort Worth, Texas. But the city won't take them down because they aren't illegal.
No, I don't agree with them either. Thousands and thousands and thousands of Americans have died for our right to express our opinion one way or another. It doesn't mean we're all going to agree on it.
The atheist group says the sign is an initiative to change the U.S. motto "In God We Trust" to "Out of Many One." Let's look at your headlines. Send it back to you.
Independence Day is almost here, and we're already celebrating on Fox Square.
That's right. This morning we are getting barbecued ready with Chef George Duran. George, what are we making? It smells good.
Yeah, well, everyone knows that great things happen when Americans party with tea, and today I'm going to make a twisted version of tea, using twisted tea to make a barbecue sauce from scratch. Yeah. You're going to be surprised.
George, show us what to do.
It's very simple. I've already roasted some tomatoes and onions, and you can add the following ingredients. They're right over here. So we have brown sugar, molasses, Worcestershire sauce. I mean, all these ingredients kind of go in there, and we have this recipe at twistedtea.com.
I did not know we were allowed to do this at home. I thought we had to buy this in stores.
You know what? When you make a barbecue from scratch using something like Twisted Tea, it's a world of a difference in flavor. All these ingredients pretty much go into this. You simmer it for 2 hours, and then what you pretty much do is you blend it. And there you have barbecue sauce made from scratch. And I'm sure a lot of viewers make barbecue sauce from scratch. But when you use Twisted Tea, this non-carbonated hard iced tea, I'm telling you, the flavors are a world of a difference. It's a great way to kind of...
How much tea you got in there, and you know, is this the secret ingredient, this twisted tea?
Yeah, it's a very good point. I'm putting about a bottle or about 2 cups of twisted tea inside of there and letting it simmer down. You want that reduction so all the flavors caramelize and they join together. You know, again, what I love about twisted tea is a great alternative to like beer and wine and cocktails, so it's very refreshing.
Here's your test, George.
4th of July.
What do you think?
Whoa, you're good. Yeah? You're good. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, the tea is good. The tea is good. So remember, when you put this barbecue sauce on the chicken on the grill, you have to put it at the last 5 minutes because there are sugars in there, and you want to make sure that doesn't burn off. So the last 5 minutes, that's how you grill.
For seconds and thirds.
Now, how about this for a question? Stand back, everybody. The viscosity of barbecue sauce that we get in a supermarket, you got to bang the bottom, and sometimes I lose interest in barbecue sauce by the end of it. So slow. Yours comes right out of the blender.
Let me tell you why. A lot of those barbecue sauces have high fructose corn syrup. This one does not. Brown sugar, molasses. In fact, if you're looking for a barbecue sauce at home and you want to buy it, always look for molasses and not high fructose corn syrup on the bottle. That's a great secret on how to buy great barbecue sauce. Or you can make it with Twisted Tea at home like this.
George, thank you. And now we know how to not have viscosity. Very important to Brian.
I did not know that.
Did you like that?
Looking at the ingredients now.
I'll give you some time in the break.
Excellent. All right, New York Times slamming America ahead of Independence Day. Listen.
I'll do one more.
The truth is, how great America is really depends on how rich you are.
Well, our next guest fled communism and will make a powerful case for America and push back against the New York Times, who seems to hate this country.
Being detected was not an option. If I was recognized, the whole operation was blown. The element of surprise was imperative.
Wow. He won't even recognize you. Seriously. I don't even recognize myself.
And thanks to my Cash Rewards credit card from Navy Federal with never expiring rewards, it's gonna be a killer honeymoon.
Woo! Maui!
Boom.
Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission.
Life doesn't give you many second chances. But a Subaru can.
You guys okay? You all right?
Eyesight with pre-collision braking. Standard on the Subaru Ascent. Presenting the 3-row Subaru Ascent. Love is now bigger than ever.
Hi there, I'm Dr. Travis Stork, and if you've ever seen me on television, you already know my passion is helping people live longer, healthier lives. Did you know that 1 out of 3 Americans suffers from high blood pressure? And the older you get, the greater the risk. So I was excited when I came across the Zona Plus. It's a drug-free, software-controlled handheld device which uses the proven science of isometric therapy to help lower blood pressure naturally.
As a physician who's experienced great results with the Zona Plus, I would not hesitate to recommend it to anyone.
I've been using it now for about 1.5 years, and I absolutely love it.
If you've been recently diagnosed with high blood pressure, or you've been dealing with it for years, you could benefit from adding the Zona Plus to your treatment plan.
And with the company's fantastic 90-day money-back guarantee, backed by a full refund of the purchase price, there's no risk. You have everything to gain by giving Zona Plus a try for 90 days. Call now at 800-311-6730 or visit us online at zonaplus.com.
If your joints feel stiff, sore, and achy, it will get worse if you do nothing.
But most products just temporarily hide the symptoms.
Now there's something different. Instaflex Advanced.
It targets the root cause of joint soreness and stiffness. It doesn't just cover up symptoms.
Instaflex Advanced bathes your joints in its cutting-edge combination of 5 key natural ingredients found in no other product for relief you can feel, backed by 5 clinical studies. For your complimentary 2-week sample of Instaflex Advanced, text GIVE to 369-369.
Don't wait while your stiff, achy joints get worse. Target the root cause with Instaflex Advanced today. It's so powerful you could feel the difference in just 1 week. Maybe that's why it's the #1 selling joint brand at GNC.
But you can only get your complimentary 2-week sample by texting GIVE to 369-369. That's GIVE to 369-369. Do it now.
Hey, you think America's great? Well, please stop telling that to the New York Times.
There are specific times and places where you can confuse America for a developing country, as elections are tampered with, water can't be drunk from taps, citizens don't trust uniformed officers, infrastructure is crumbling, and where a dual system is emerging when public services are for sale for the highest bidder. America may once have been the greatest, but today, America, we're just okay.
Well, our next guest fled oppression and persecution in communist Albania for the United States, and he says the New York Times got it all wrong.
Joining us with more is attorney Peter Lumaj. Peter, how has the New York Times got it wrong? Is this the America you know that they describe?
Oh, absolutely not. The way they got it wrong is that American exceptionalism is based on freedom and liberty, on the founding documents of this country. Because of the founding documents and the freedom and liberty that we provide for to this nation, we developed the greatest nation on earth. Look, Arnold Toynbee years ago warned us that great civilizations are not murdered, they commit suicide. Our nation is committing suicide by promoting socialism in our country, by importing the failed ideology of Eastern Europe. We escaped that. Thousands and thousands of people would love to have the opportunity to come to the United States to live the American dream. Last year alone, approximately 100,000 Albanians escaped socialism from Albania, searching for freedom and opportunity. When New York Times tries to denigrate United States, I think every American should get concerned about it, because the greatness of this nation is based on the relationship between the individual and the government. For the first time in the human history, you have the individual actually holding the government responsible. Instead of the government being served by the individual, we have the government serving the individual, and the individual became supreme to the government. And those are the founding documents. These are the historical facts of the United States, and New York Times is ignoring that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I watched the entire video, and afterwards I was like, gosh, that's very depressing. They focus on everything negative about our country, but we have so many more positives. What is it really like to come from a country where you are fearful?
Look, as I said, I mean, you look at thousands and thousands of people wanting to come over here from socialist countries, including Venezuela. I'm sorry?
What about your story?
Look, my story is very simple. I think that my father was willing to sacrifice his life. He died in a concentration camp so his sons could live in freedom. It took us about 9 months before we came to the United States through different refugee camps where we were processed and fingerprinted, and background investigation was conducted. But the fact that we wanted what the United States had to offer, that freedom, that opportunity, we were willing to sacrifice anything and everything that we could and we had just to come over here to live the American dream. I was able to go to college over here. I paid for it. I was able to go to law school and become an attorney. I paid for it. I worked in different positions in the United States, including the Giuliani administration. I have my own practice. I'm living the American dream, and so are hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people who escaped Eastern Europe. You can talk to any one of them, and they will tell you the exact same story. Look, you have George Soros right now spending millions of dollars in Eastern Europe trying to maintain socialism, where the government has command and control over the individual. He just did it in Albania on June 30th. I mean, there are allegations that millions of dollars are going to Eastern Europe trying to maintain that kind of command and control over the individual. We reversed that. We, for the first time in the human history, the United States had the government serve the people instead of people serving the government.
Peter Lamage, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having
your
me.
story.
America more than just okay. In your eyes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
America
Absolutely.
is great.
Absolutely is great. Happy 4th.
Yeah, same
Thank
to
you to you too. Well, tanks are rolling into Washington for President Trump's salute to America, but some are calling this un-American. Really?
Exactly. Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance, so you only pay for what you need.
Nice. But, what's up with your partner?
Not again. Nemo, that's your reflection. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Today's Best Western. What does that mean?
With rewards points that never expire, you get free nights fast. Now get a $20 Best Western gift card after your first stay. Book now at bestwestern.com.
Whatever your dream, just keep chasing it. In the Honda CR-V. With available features like hands-free access power tailgate, turbocharged engine, and sharp, stylish interior. The Honda CR-V Touring. Hurry into your Honda dealer to find a great deal on a 2019 KBB.com Best Buy.
I love Rakuten. It's basically free money.
It's an easy way to earn cash back on the stuff I'm already buying.
When you have a child and they're constantly growing out of clothing, earning cash back from Rakuten just makes everything easier.
Sometimes it's 3%, sometimes it's 8%, but you're always getting cash back.
The way cashback works on Rakuten is so they get a commission from the store and then they share that commission with me.
And you have more money to spend because you got free money.
Go to Rakuten.com and sign up today for a $10 bonus.
At Angie's List, we help you feel confident about hiring pros for home projects. You can check their ratings, read verified reviews, and easily request multiple quotes. Find all the pros you need to know at Angie'sList.com.
PetSmart celebrating the 4th with great deals like buy one, get one 50% off dog and cat food and holiday dog toys, apparel, beds, and more. Plus, Treats members get 50% more points on all purchases. Now that's a celebration. PetSmart.
That R stands for Realtor. We're more than agents and apps. We're community advocates. We turn vacant buildings into thriving businesses. We fight for property owner rights. We believe owning a home is part of the American dream. That's what realtors do. That's who we are.
America will never be a socialist country.
You're right, Mr. President. But the Department of Health and Human Services is considering a plan to adopt socialist price controls from foreign countries. The proposed International Drug Pricing Index would cripple American medical innovation, delay access to existing life-saving therapies, and mean fewer new cures. Mr. President, please reject socialist price controls for Medicare Part B.
What's that?
Those are some fireworks.
Oh, from
Because
Nevada.
tomorrow is the 4th of July. Thank you to Gotham Fireworks. This is live from Nevada.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Setting up a display. You can. We encourage you not to do this at home.
Yeah. Not to shoot off fireworks. You can use sparklers.
Right. You're not in New York. You can't.
Just be safe.
Right.
You can't use sparklers in New York.
You can use sparklers, but nobody uses sparklers. They like to blow things up and
The kids
shoot
use
off bottle
sparklers.
rockets.
Didn't you write your name in the air when you were a kid?
No.
No?
No.
Did you, Brett?
Of course I did. But listen, if you're asleep at 3 in the morning in Nevada, you're not under attack.
You're not
it's
asleep
just
anymore.
the day before 4th of July fireworks. You're hearing, go out and enjoy it because it's a great sight.
Right. You know, it's just so funny. I have 2 dogs. One's deaf, one isn't. And it's just amazing their different reaction to fireworks. One walks through like there's nothing going on, and the other one is scared to death. And we know that dogs definitely react negatively.
I have the thunder jacket for my dog,
Oh, yes,
Rascal. Yeah, he's
yes.
terrified of those things.
We love
He has to
Rascal.
wear his little jacket, survive it.
That a lot of people are buying those, I'm sure, in preparation for the 4th of July. We talk about this because that big celebration is going to happen down in D.C. The president's been talking about it on the Mall, and he's really fired up about it. He's excited. He's saying, let's bring in the tanks.
Right, yeah. So his big 4th is Salute to America. That's what he's going to call it. The Pentagon and great military leaders are thrilled to be doing this and showing to the American people everything we're paying for. The military hardware. We got the best military in the world. He's put $770 billion into it over the last 2 years, and probably another $700 billion into it this year.
He's going to have fireworks, military bands, flyovers, tanks, and more military vehicles, and I'm sure a lot of people.
I'm very excited because I'm going to leave this couch, go back to D.C. today to be out there on the Mall for you guys tomorrow morning. And I have been covering the 4th of July for a while. I've never seen an M1A1 Abrams tank or a Bradley fighting vehicle or any planes flying ever. So it's going to be quite exciting.
When you see those tanks rolling into your city, down into D.C., it gets you fired up. It gets you excited because you think about our military, and that represents America. But you've had critics. There are so many critics out there that are saying, oh, it's going to ruin the sidewalks. It's going to, damage our roads. I'm like, what?
I have always said, though, keep the tanks off the sidewalks. That's always been my pet peeve.
That's your motto.
That's true. Here's some critics saying that they're making this too partisan.
And this is nauseating, Chris, because this is not just obnoxious tackiness. This is actually dangerous because it's fundamentally un-American.
The message is a threat. I suspect that the threat is to his fellow Americans. And I hate to say that, but I think that Donald Trump styles himself a tyrant.
I think more of a sign of his just neediness and his insecurity. And there's a certain silliness about this as well as obnoxiousness.
Critics concerned the president's hijacking the holiday, putting politics over patriotism and forcing taxpayers to foot the bill.
4th of July on the National Mall has been a tribute to universal American themes. This year, by design, it will be much more about him.
For lack of a better word, it's very Soviet.
It was about bolstering himself up, looking like a dictator from another nation.
So I guess they're against it. I'm sensing it's going to be a little bit different. The president wants to salute the military and salute the veterans. He wanted a military parade. Mattis said, it'd be too costly. It's going to. He's asking the Parks Department to give him $2.3 million. Excuse me. They want to get an exact.
He loved it because
on
when he went to France for Bastille Day, he saw what they do over there, and he's like, we need to have a celebration like this. This is awesome. Never expected the critics. Never expected for people to say we shouldn't have a parade like this.
It's hard to get to the Soviet criticism. I'm not sure exactly what she was thinking about there.
What would they say if President Obama had done this, had brought in tanks?
Hey, look, here's for the critics out there, we're going to see what happens. It's going to go down, and the president says he's not going to make it about himself, even though he's been accused of it. Let's see if it is a beautiful celebration on the 243rd celebration.
Leo Petrie is a Medal of Honor recipient. He responded to what's going to be a salute to America on tomorrow.
Our president is doing this to recognize the sacrifices of many service members and military that are serving today and their families. When people that argue the costs, I look at this and the cost to me was worth it for all of our American citizens. And so when it comes to thanking our veterans and doing the right thing, the cost is worth it to me.
Absolutely.
It should be to everyone else.
Wow, stunning.
That's pretty powerful.
So that's where the president's heart is with that, even though people think it's politics. Quick question. They did a survey. Only 45% of the country say they're very proud to be an American. 45%. It was at 70% in 2002. What about you? Are you proud to be an American? Has anything changed as slowly but surely they're trying to tear away at the flag and our founding fathers? We'll discuss that. The other big story is immigration. Another study shows top issues of the day, according to a Harvard Harris poll, is immigration is now front and center. 42% say that is the #1 issue with you. We know what's happened over the last few days. Democratic congressmen and women have flooded to the border and suddenly saying this is horrific, this is terrible, and trying to blame this administration or worse yet, Border Patrol. But this is an old story that they are trying to now get a hold.
pleading for help, testifying of the crisis coming. Our great producers here on Fox and Friends put together a little flashback of some of what they had to say. Listen.
With funding directed within the supplemental request.
When our operations will return to normal. But as long as we face this crisis, I will continue to ask for DoD support.
Talk about how bad the conditions are down there, even though she voted twice not to give the funding that those Border Patrol agents went to Washington to ask for.
It wasn't a manufacturing crisis. It never was a manufacturing crisis. There is a huge problem at our border. President Obama talked about it. Jay Johnson sat here, a former Homeland Security Secretary, and discussed the challenges he had in 2012 and 2014. And now it's worse than ever. We tried to highlight that over and over again. Listen.
You're looking at a facility that should be handling 300, maybe 350 people max. It is now handling multiple thousands.
We have a caravan come through here every 5 days, and we have been for 2 years.
We had an MS-13 member that was part of a fake family unit. We intercepted a communication that he was sending back to Central America, basically telling them that there are gaps in our policies.
It's unbelievably difficult terrain. I'm cut, my gloves torn, but there they are. They've got two more.
Both of them actually tried to run. This one right here was hiding underneath this brush to my left.
Here comes some more right now, right? So I told you they just come up the road.
They're coming in the country.
Yeah, they just got dropped off by a smuggler.
Not an hour since we've been landed. We came down to the border to see what's going on. You can see already Border Patrol has just made this apprehension. It just keeps coming and overwhelming. You can see the manpower.
They were screaming out for help. They were begging Congress to act. They had 90-plus House members not vote for humanitarian aid. And then you come down and hold press conference and decry the humanitarian conditions. It's unacceptable to try to hijack this story for a certain handful of Democrats who are trying to say, look at what we discovered. These are people speaking out, begging us for cover to come down and cover the story because it's being ignored by those same people who are criticizing them for inhumanitarian conditions.
Yeah, how quickly they've changed their tune. Remember when Border Patrol agents kept saying, we have a crisis, please do something about this, Washington. And then Democrats responded this way.
This president just used the backdrop of the Oval Office to manufacture a crisis.
President Trump must stop holding the American people hostage, must stop manufacturing a crisis.
The crisis on the border is a manufactured crisis.
They are engaging in what I would call manufactured moral crisis.
This so-called crisis at the border is fake.
This is a crisis of his own making because it was a campaign pledge.
Right, campaign pledge, manufactured crisis from the California governor, which is just, I mean, he should just resign at this point, to say that it's a manufactured crisis at his border, in Texas, in New Mexico, in Arizona. It's a flat-out crisis. Everyone's ignoring it. Then they go down there, decry the conditions after refusing to write the check to help.
Well, they're right. It's manufactured, not by the president. It's manufactured by the inaction of Congress to reform the asylum laws, because all of those Border Patrol officials we played that clip of saying that we're at crisis levels, we need financial and manpower assistance. We're also saying, please act, please stop coming down here to the border and go back to your home in Congress and act to change the asylum laws, because those catch and release asylum laws are what's driving. It's the driving magnet bringing people from these countries.
Well, many are scratching their heads wondering, why are Democrats now saying that it's a crisis? Why are they just now recognizing this when, in January they were saying it was manufactured? This is an op-ed from the New York Post. Here's a segment from that. It says she, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and other Democrats are seeking to spin what is a very real crisis as evidence of the administration's moral failings. But if they want someone to blame for the conditions they encountered, they can start by looking in the mirror.
That is just, it's 100% correct. The conditions are not great. They were never great. The Border Patrol was the one with the bullhorn begging everyone to say, help me out. No one could even work the border. They were so busy processing people. So the president said, since Congress is not acting, I'm going to give you a National Guard. And California said, you're not taking my National Guard. So they got California, you got Michigan National Guard, Kentucky National Guard working the California border because that liberal governor won't put his own people there because of the manufacturer crisis, which we all now admit is very, very real.
You have the Inspector General report coming out. They're going to hold hearings on it next week about the situation in the Rio Grande sector, the heaviest traffic sector. And maybe the lawmakers, particularly Democrats, will listen this time.
I hope Mark Morgan and Kevin McAleenan will not sit there and take the beating.
They haven't.
They got to come when they go to testify. They got to yell back at Elijah Cummings and company
They were asked
for
to
ignoring
testify,
them.
and they haven't said whether or not they're going to do that. Now, Kevin Wallace is a Tennessee pastor. He's from Chattanooga, and there were several pastors that went down to the exact same facility that AOC went to, and he said it looked completely different than the way she described it. Listen.
We definitely need to do what we can to improve the living situations there. But the pastors and I that walked through that detention center, first of all, we saw a clean place, a safe place, a place stocked with food, and the idea that abuse was going on there is something that we just didn't find any sign of. In fact, the border agents that we met were very kind, considerate, compassionate people, and so we were kind of astounded at the report and the reality that we experienced as we walked through the Clint facility.
It is crowded. It is not nice, but they're doing the best they can from what they have. Number two is, guess what? Those people that I saw 6 weeks ago, you know where they are? They're in the middle of the country. They've been put in buses and caught and released. So you don't like the conditions? Well, also keep in mind the story doesn't end there. The story, nothing stopping them from continuing to come. They continue to flood the border. And those people that were captured, illegal immigrants, they were let out and they were told come back. And the average wait, 2 years. What are the chances in 2 years they're going to go and find a judge and appear in 2 years?
Well, there's been a lot of talk about that, and we'll talk more about this throughout the morning because, you know, the RGV officials are reaching out to me this morning telling me that they could, as they erect another shelter to try and deal with this exploding problem, they could be down to only 10% of their force on the actual border itself.
Shelter, tent. That's who they're doing. They're putting up tents. That's all they can do. It's not their fault.
Well, they're going to Congress. They're asking Congress to give them money so they don't have to use tents. They can use facilities, and they don't have to have overcrowding. They say they're overwhelmed. They're changing babies' diapers instead of being on the border. So Congress needs to get together. They need to fix this problem.
Right.
All right, let's hand it over to Jillian, who has some headlines for us. Hey, Jillian.
That's right. Good morning to you. Let's begin with this Fox News alert. Dozens of protesters are arrested at ICE demonstrations across the country.
Blood is on our hands. Blood is on our hands. Blood is on
Police arrested 18 protesters in Boston as they railed against the Trump administration's border policies, calling for the abolishment of ICE. 18 other people were taken into custody in Rhode Island as they yelled shame outside an ICE detention center. Right now, a Jim Beam bourbon warehouse is up in flames. Look at this, the fire breaking out overnight at an aging facility in Kentucky that holds 45,000 barrels of bourbon. At least 2 buildings are damaged, but no one is hurt. The cause of the fire hasn't been identified, but it could have been sparked by lightning. The man known as the father of the Ford Mustang is dead. Auto industry icon Lee Iacocca passing away from complications from Parkinson's disease in Bel Air, California.
You're proud of this car, aren't you? If you can find a better car, buy it.
Iacocca rescued Chrysler from bankruptcy in the early 1980s after Congress approved a $1.5 billion bailout. In a statement, the company says, quote, he was one of the great leaders of our company and the auto industry as a whole. Iacocca was 94 years old. I'll send it back to you. Yep.
Yeah,
Wow,
great person.
that's sad.
All right.
Thanks, Jillian.
15 minutes after the hour, Democrats in Illinois doubling the state's gas tax. Our next guest is a Republican lawmaker. Says it won't just impact drivers. It'll kill business. But he's got a solution. Stick around. That's my way of saying I hope you don't change the channel.
Too many people in pain settle for a restless night's sleep. There's a better choice. Aleve PM, the only one to combine a safe sleep aid and the 12-hour pain-relieving strength of Aleve that dares to last into the morning, so you feel refreshed. Aleve PM, there's a better choice.
So how have you been, Melissa?
My in-laws are coming in for a week.
A week?
Yes, I have to get the house ready.
Oh my gosh, you need tackle. You can find an approved provider to come in and do all the little jobs you don't want to do, leaving tons of time for what you love. Hi, Michael.
Good morning, Kathy Lee.
How are ya?
Busy. Got a lot of things on that honey-do list.
You need Tackle.
Tackle?
Yeah, you need your lawn mowed?
Yeah.
They'll come do it. Go to Tackle, T-A-K-L.
Tackle, huh?
Yeah, Tackle, your simple solution.
Introducing Nutrisystem's July 4th sale. Save 50%. Yes, 50%.
Lose up to 13 pounds and 7 inches in your first month. Order your 28-day plan and get 1 week of high-protein shakes with probiotics to help shrink your belly free.
And there's even a money-back guarantee.
Save 50% off every program.
Grab this special offer right now and start losing today.
Go online or call 877-651-FIT4 right now to save 50%.
When you're not able to smile, you become closed off. I felt withdrawn, alone.
Having to live with bad teeth for so long was extremely depressing. Now I know how happy I am.
There was all the feeling good about myself that I missed. I wish that I had gone to Aspen Dental on day one and not waited 3 years.
At Aspen Dental, we're all about yes. Like yes to flexible hours and payment options. Yes to free exam and x-rays for new patients without insurance. And yes, whenever you're ready to get started, we are too. Call now at 1-800-ASPEN Dental.
This is not a bed. It's a revolution in sleep. The Sleep Number 360 Smart Bed is on sale now during our lowest prices of the season. It senses your movement and automatically adjusts to keep you both comfortable. It even helps with this. So you wake up ready to hit the ground running. Don't miss our 4th of July special with the Queen Sleep Number 360 C4 Smart Bed, now $12.99, plus free premium delivery when you add a base. And Sunday. Sleep Number, proven quality sleep.
The 5 on the 4th.
Welcome to our Independence Day special.
So how does the crew celebrate?
And that's how you shuck an Iroquois.
Don't miss the 5's 4th of July special.
Attention cancer victims who use the weed killer Roundup. A federal jury unanimously found that Monsanto's popular weed killer Roundup was a substantial factor in causing cancer. You may be entitled to substantial compensation. If you or someone you love used Roundup and were diagnosed with cancer, call the number on your screen now. Don't wait. There may be time deadlines to file a claim.
Call 800-921-1837. That's 800-921-1837.
I got the job.
I guess we're moving.
Life is changing, and you need to sell your house. Agents are everywhere, but how do you know who you can trust? At HomeLight, you can compare actual performance data on thousands of agents near you, so you know you're getting the best agent for your needs. The best real estate agents sell homes for more money, and with HomeLight, it's easy to find them. Get started for free today at HomeLight.com.
Here we go. Illinois residents are being taxed to the max again. The first round of tax increases kicking off this week, starting with the doubling of the state gas tax, setting to cost drivers an extra $100 or more each year. Experts warn it could drive out small businesses who are heading for the gates anyway. Joining us right now is Illinois State Representative, Republican David McSweeney. All right, David, you're in the extreme minority in the Senate. What is the problem with raising taxes of the people of Illinois?
We're going to drive more people out of this state. We have a tax massacre here in Illinois. We have a governor, J.B. Pritzker, who's committed to raising taxes, just double the gas tax, wants to increase the income tax. And in the Illinois State House, I have been the leader fighting these tax increases. What we need is public employee pension reform. We need Medicaid reform. We need to cut spending. What the Democrats in the state are focused on is raising taxes. And raising taxes will just simply drive more people out of the state of Illinois.
Right.
We need real reform.
And when you talk about raising taxes, you're not talking about building subsidized buildings. You're talking about paying off pensions, which are unaffordable, correct?
Absolutely. In fact, the benefits continue to grow every year at 3% compounded. Inflation is only 1.5%. So this is a state that's controlled by the unions. The Democrats continually want to raise taxes. There are some Republicans who joined with the Democrats for these massive gas tax increases. They're going to drive more people out of this state. We need to cut spending. We need real reform. President Trump's economic policies have helped create economic growth.
Right.
Instead of using that money to actually pay down some of the debt, they're spending the money. We need to cut spending spending in this state. We need to cut taxes. We need to reform property taxes.
But you know, you guys, Republicans were the ones who would do that, and Democrats have no appetite to do that. Here's an idea of how the Illinois tax hikes and what it's going to mean. They're doubling the state's gas tax to 38 cents from 19. Cigarette tax by $1, 5 cents for plastic bag tax. So get them on the bags. People just carrying everything out in their arms. It's going to be like Costco. David, you're losing people too. People don't want to pay money in taxes. So you said you lost net 45,000 people this year already?
Right, that's including a burst in migration. We're behind Pennsylvania in population. We're going to lose a congressional seat. There's going to be a tax rebellion in this state. People are sick and tired of these tax increases. They're sick and tired of increased spending, no reforms, the corruption in the city of Chicago. We need real reform in Illinois, and I'm fighting for that reform.
Yeah, but you're a lone voice. Like California, like New York, Republicans have very little play in these cities, and they are drowning in red ink. Thanks so much. Republican David McSweeney putting up the warning flag. No one's watching. We are, David. Thank you.
I'll keep fighting.
You got it. All right, coming up straight ahead. Forget Nike, the company doubling down on pulling its Betsy Ross flag sneakers. One police officer, an Air Force vet, designed his own patriotic shoe, and the money helps our heroes. That story coming your way. That officer will be with us live.
Puberty means personal space.
So sports clothes sit around growing odors. That's why we graduated to Tide Pod Sport.
Finally, something more powerful than the funk.
Tide Sport removes even week-old sweat odor. It's got to be Tide.
Today's Best Western. What does that mean?
With rewards points that never expire, you get free nights fast. Now get a $20 Best Western gift card after your first stay. Book now at bestwestern.com.
Do you have any idea how your mattress affects your body and how well you sleep? Is it too hard or too soft, causing you to wake up with sore shoulders, back, or hips? Are you uncomfortable because you're too hot or too cold? Now you can get the total body support you need and the better sleep you want with the new MyPillow mattress topper.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell. When I invented my new MyPillow mattress topper, I made it to have everything you'd ever want in a topper. My mattress topper helps give you the support you need, helps relieve your pressure points, and regulates your body temperature for you as an individual. It comes with a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry the cover. It's made in the USA, and I back it with my 60-day money-back guarantee.
Go to MyPillow.com or call now to get your very own MyPillow mattress topper. Use the promo code and Mike will give you 30% off and 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free. Order now.
MyPillow topper delivers on its promise to give me a better night's sleep.
I can sleep all night through, and it's a miracle for me.
Mike's exclusive 3-layer design starts with a layer of MyPillow foam, providing you superior support and comfort. The second layer of transitional foam evenly distributes body weight and helps relieve uncomfortable pressure points for optimal comfort. Mike's ultra soft outer layer is a patented temperature regulating cover that helps keep you at your ideal sleeping temperature all night long. Unlike other sleep systems costing thousands, the MyPillow mattress topper takes comfort to a whole new level without any wires, remotes, or moving parts. Call now or go to MyPillow.com to order your MyPillow topper. Use the promo code to save 30%. When you do, Mike will give you 2 of his standard MyPillows absolutely free. That's right, 2 standard MyPillows free and 30% off your MyPillow topper today. Order now.
I personally guarantee it's going to change your bed into the most comfortable bed you'll ever own.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Now, get exceptional offers at the Infinity Plus Summer Sales Event.
Fox News Channel on Sirius XM. Your favorite shows on Channel 114. Plus, every story, every 15 minutes. Fox News headlines 24/7, Channel 115.
We're back with the Fox News Alert. Navy SEAL Eddie Gallagher waking up this morning a free man found not guilty of murdering an ISIS prisoner.
All right, he will face sentencing today, but for a much lesser charge. And keep in mind, he's already served 9 months in prison.
Yeah, Todd Pyrer joins us now as the Gallagher family and veterans around the nation are applauding this verdict. Todd?
Griff, Ainsley, and Brian, good morning to all three of you. Gallagher's lawyer calling it a 2-year nightmare. The Navy SEAL and his wife reacting to their nightmare being over.
Happy and thankful. Yeah, I'm happy and I'm thankful. Thank God and my legal team and my wife.
I mean, I was feeling like we're finally vindicated after being terrorized by the government that my husband fought for 2 decades in the war on terror. I think that this vindication, I hope, will be a lesson learned to everybody.
The 19-year veteran deployed 8 times, found not guilty of numerous charges, including premeditated murder and attempted murder following the death of a captive ISIS fighter. He was found guilty of posing with the picture of a corpse, a charge which carries a max of 4 months in prison. But in light of the fact that he already spent 9 months in prison in advance of his trial, as Brian said, the 40-year-old is expected to go free when he is sentenced on that charge later today. One of the key moments in the controversy-filled case when a key prosecution witness said that he, and not Chief Gallagher, killed the captive by covering his breathing tube. Keep in mind, though, that Gallagher could still face an administrative punishment from the Navy. Back to you.
Yeah, and we'll see how bitter they are after losing their controversial case. Thanks, Todd. By the way, Eddie Gallagher coming up in 1 hour and 3 minutes.
Yeah, you see all that video of his wife. She stood by his side throughout the entire thing, and she's going to be on with us, too, at 8:30.
It's going to be good. Pete's going to do a great interview there. It's very telling. All right, look, Nike repeatedly canceled production of their Betsy Ross flag sneaker you see there after former NFL quarterback Colin Kaepernick complained the American flag symbol is offensive.
Well, now one Iowa police officer designed his own honor and respect sneaker to show support for his fellow first responders, donating all the proceeds to help heroes suffering from PTSD and depression.
And that man behind that mission, Marion officer, police officer, and Air Force veteran himself, Ron Slagle. Ron, people should go out and buy your shoe. Those people that were going to buy the Air Max 1, it's 15 years since it was designed first with the flag on it. If you're upset about that, we should go out and buy your shoe, right?
Absolutely.
Right. I mean, and what will happen with the proceeds once we get it?
Well, the proceeds actually benefit 2 different projects. One is Code 9 project based out of New York City, and the other one's Blue Help.
What did you think in the beginning when Colin Kaepernick decided to take a knee because of police officers and brutality, he said, and then to see that he said that sneaker, the Betsy Ross sneaker, was controversial? What went through your mind?
At first, the kneeling and the objection to police officers in general is a disgrace to the actual profession. The Betsy Ross objection with the shoe for Nike translates into a loss of history, and I believe at times that's the biggest loss we have, is really knowing what the history about that is.
Ron, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell weighed in on this. I want you to take a listen to what he had to say.
If we're in a political environment where the American flag has become controversial to Americans, I think we got a problem. I hope Nike either releases these shoes or some other shoemaker picks up the flag, puts it on a pair of shoes, and starts selling it. I'll make the first order.
Ron, where does Mitch get a pair?
Well, Mitch and everyone else can go to honor-respect.com and order their shoes today to continue to honor and basically give honor and respect to the law enforcement and military members that are out there giving us the freedom that we have.
Ron, one of the things that Kaepernick said reportedly, according to the Wall Street Journal, was a lot of people, evidently there's a white supremacist group using that symbol, and they don't like the mixed message they get. And I'm thinking to myself, what if some white supremacist group decide to use a Nike swoosh? Or what if those gangs that use the Raiders jerseys and logos for their Raiders? The Raiders haven't stopped using their jersey to play football. So why should we back off the original flag?
Well, I believe at times most people can be offended by about anything any longer. I think as Americans, we need to stand up for what's right. And we need to stand up for what's fundamentally correct in our system.
What does the flag mean to you?
The flag means freedom. I served my country for 8 years in the Air Force. I continue to serve my city as a police officer. The flag is a symbol of what we fought for, and a lot of Americans are still fighting for today.
All right, Rob, thank you. This is a great story coming on the eve of 4th of July. How are you going to spend the 4th?
Well, I do have to work for about 16 hours that day with all the activities going on in the city. But after that, the family and I will get together and we'll go watch the fireworks and celebrate together and celebrate this great country we all live in.
All right, Ron, thank you so much. Thanks for working on a holiday and giving up that, the beach or barbecue so that you can keep your community safe. What's your website again?
It's honor-respect.com, and it's live today.
There it is. Look at the bottom of your screen.
Thank you. Thanks, Ron.
All right, it wouldn't
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome. Thank you. It wouldn't be Independence Day without the fireworks, of course, and we are starting the celebration early. We're lighting things up. We are live, and that is live.
Is that live?
Yeah, that's live, Brian.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Norwegian's Free at Sea lets you choose up to 5 free offers, like free unlimited open bar, free shore excursions, friends and family sail free, and more. Your next vacay awaits from just $2.99. Norwegian Cruise Line. Feel free.
That R stands for Realtor. Realtors do more than buy and sell homes. We stand up for the property owners of today and tomorrow. That's who we are.
If the situation's stressful, then I want to wear my thunder shirt. From thunderstorms to fireworks, or any time my feelings hurt.
Like going to the vet or being home alone, anxiety.
The constant gentle pressure really feels like someone's hugging me. It's drug-free and it works, yes, or your money back, it's guaranteed.
They said it was wonderful, the only shirt I'll ever need.
So if you need some calming, look online or any pet store shelf. Just tell them that you're freaking out and need to thunder shirt yourself.
Now available at PetSmart, Petco, and other fine retailers. Buy now before July 4th fireworks.
As a real estate agent, I've learned it's excess moisture that causes musty odors. Pro tip, use DampRid.
New DampRid drop-in tabs attract and trap excess moisture out of the air, eliminating musty odors.
Works every time.
Get rid of dampness.
DampRid.
Wait! Where's Grandpa?
If you're making too many bathroom trips, pay attention. Super Beta Prostate has clinically tested ingredients that help reduce urges to urinate so you can enjoy more of life's best moments.
Everyone wants to feel confident when hiring pros for their home projects. And at Angie's List, we have what you need to help make the right choice. Find specialized pros in your area for any kind of home project. Check their ratings, read verified reviews from your neighbors, then easily request quotes from multiple pros with just a few clicks. Find all the pros you need to know, all for free. Go to angieslist.com today.
For small businesses, payroll is complex and time-consuming, and mistakes can mean tax trouble. Sure Payroll makes it easy to pay employees and file federal, state, and local taxes with accuracy guaranteed. All done online in minutes, and with award-winning support, even on weekends and evenings. More time for you, less time on payroll and taxes. For 1 month of free payroll, visit SurePayroll.com now or call 844-SURE-PAYROLL. SurePayroll.com.
Most people think a button is just a button. That a speaker is just a speaker. Or that the journey can't be the destination. Most people haven't driven a Lincoln.
Discover the Lincoln approach to craftsmanship at the Lincoln Summer Invitation. Right now, get 0% APR on all 2019 Lincoln vehicles, plus no payments for up to 90 days. Only at your Lincoln dealer.
We are celebrating Independence Day with more proud American coverage.
This time, we are touring one of America's most historic cities, Charleston, South Carolina.
That's right. Proud American correspondent and former Fox and Friends Weekend co-host Anna Koyman joins us live from Patriots Point. Welcome back home, Anna.
Oh, it feels amazing to be home, Ainsley. It's such an honor to be back on Fox and Friends. And Ainsley, you know, since we're both Carolina girls,
Yes.
we know about the magic of Charleston. It's not just the beaches and being out on the water, the shopping, the Southern cuisine. Of course, it's the historic sites as well. And one of the best ways to see the city is by carriage. So we are taking you on a tour. Let's watch. One of the top activities for visitors to Charleston, South Carolina, y'all, is taking a horse and carriage tour. So we've come to the Old South Carriage Company because you know we can't leave town until we've shown you all the historic sites. Come on. So my friends from Fox and I would love a tour. What do you say?
We don't give away anything for free. We're going to put you to work.
No free. You're going to put me to work? What is that? Are you kidding me?
This is Larry, and we're going to get you to do some grooming.
You look so good. Do you mind if we take a selfie? Let's see. Okay. After all this hard work that I've done, can my Fox friends and I finally get a tour, please?
Yes, I'm going to turn you right over here to Elizabeth.
Okay, nice to meet you, Elizabeth.
Hi, nice to meet you.
So what's the name of this horse?
This is Mac. I call him Big Mac. This is one of Charleston's most famous churches. This is St. Philip's Episcopal Church.
Do we clop along?
Yeah. Come on, Mac. That beautiful street, that's the French Quarter. The site that you see beside you on the left, that was where the original South Carolina Institute Hall was located. So coming up in front of us, that big, beautiful white church, that is St. Michael's Episcopal Church. That's the oldest church building on the peninsula, and it dates back to 1752. George Washington sat in box number 43 in that church, and you can go sit there today. So up in front of us, we've got the old Customs and Exchange building, where the Declaration of Independence was first read aloud here in the city of Charleston. It was an area where the Constitution was ratified, one of only 3 places in the United States, including Boston and Philadelphia. They built it on top of our old Provost Dungeon, a haunted dungeon today.
And it's not just historic buildings in Charleston that visitors flock to. In fact, this waterfront park was just constructed in the 1990s. The city has a real knack for mixing the old with the new. The pineapple, for example, it used to be a sign of wealth and status, but now it's a sign of Southern hospitality and welcoming.
Do you want to drive?
I thought you had never asked.
All right, here you go.
Okay.
You've got the whip in one hand, the reins in the other. You've got it, girl.
I got this. Elizabeth, what an amazing tour.
And thanks for coming, and we want to present you with this. Welcome to the Old South family.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for visiting Charleston.
Oh, I could stay forever.
Oh.
I could stay forever, and what a great hat too. Hey, our tour guide brought up a great point that is worth mentioning, that Charleston is such an enchanting city, but we can't forget that many of the beautiful buildings were built on the backs of slaves. And I wanted to mention too, a big thank you to Old South Carriage Company for that incredible tour. And those horses, Lair Bear and Big Mac, they get pampered with fans and ice buckets to help with all the heat. We hope that all of you at home, wherever you're celebrating the 4th of July, you have fantastic weather. Make sure that you send us pictures using that hashtag on social media, Proud American, wearing your red, white, and blue. We want to see how you're celebrating the 4th of July.
Anna, down on the coast of South Carolina, they have a Salute from the Shore, and you can go on their website and you can click on the schedule, and you can see where the flyover is going to occur in your town, because everyone goes to the beaches. As you know, Anna, you're going to go up in a plane, I know, with this great organization. But 2 men started it in South Carolina. Mr. Folsom's a friend of mine, and he said he was sitting on the beach, and he knew our men 11 years ago were fighting for his freedom to sit on the beach with his family. He was like, how can we honor them? So they started this flyover, and no matter where you are in South Carolina, the flyover comes along the coast, and then you stand on the beach and you salute all of our men and women that are serving overseas. It's awesome.
Yep, my folks, Ainsley, have a little place in Hilton Head, and they like to go there as well. Yesterday, we were just with the Air Force hearing about how much it means to them to look out over that sea of red, white, and blue. You know, it's one of those pinch me moments for them, and one of the young guys actually was about in tears talking about how moving it was. So we will bring you that story tomorrow.
I've never seen it. I'm leaving today to go down to the beach, and I'm going to go out there on the beach and on the shore, and I'm going to salute. And I hope you'll do the same thing. It's going to be great.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, wearing our red, white, and blue, and make sure you eat some hush puppies and she crab soup while you're down here too.
Hey, Anna, I got to ask you real quick, how cool is it being on the USS Yorktown there at Patriots Point? Because anybody can go and visit. It's a tourist destination. Years ago for Fox News, I was there shooting a War Stories episode, but it's really quite captivating to go on that.
Yeah, in fact, about 300,000 visitors come to Patriots Point every single year, they tell me. And as you saw earlier in the show, and you can find this on social media as well, we did an extended version of the story we did at 6:30 with the U.S. Navy SEAL who helped out in the space race as well. So there's a lot of history here, not just American war history, but after Apollo 8 had orbited the moon 10 times, and then they did their big splashdown and recovery 1,000 miles off the coast of Hawaii, the USS Yorktown came and picked those 3 astronauts up, and we got to talk to one of the divers. So yeah, it's such a cool place to be. I love Charleston, South Carolina. I'm so honored that you guys brought me back from Australia.